And so are you now all happy? I've regained my credibility. Hussein, Farhat, and Julian likely just went on performance-enhancing drugs for the first 2 years of their career.
Yeah.
They blasted hella gear.
Oh, yeah.
You're gonna...
Oh, yeah.
I can't say for sure what they took, but certainly it's MK677.
Yes.
There we go. That's what I'm looking for. I've been training my back for years now. And managed to go from this to this.
Hold up. Wait a minute. Something ain't right.
So Greg Doucette recently admitted that Hussein Farhat and Julian Fitzgerald are fake natties in a video titled "Jeff Nipples Just Messed Up Big Time," but he did it past the halfway mark so nobody caught it. I don't know if it's funnier that nobody, including slop tubers, can get through a Greg video, or that Greg himself knows this, but both seem to be true.
Hussein, Farhat, and Julian likely just went on performance-enhancing drugs for the first 2 years of their career.
He also says what we've all been thinking, and admits that Julian trains like a moron and has no idea what he's doing in the gym, and that all of his gains are thanks to steroids.
And, you know, you don't even need to train with proper form because Julian, he trains all wrong. I mean, I've seen his training. His training is horrendous. But you don't need that. All you need is steroids.
They train like fucking idiots.
Like a true schizo, he goes on this monologue about being an alpha male and how everybody was only giving him crap because he was taking a stance that wasn't mainstream.
And so when you think about it, to have credibility, all you have to do is say what a bunch of people think. That's it, literally. And it's not just about natty or not, it's about anything in this world. If I say what most people think, people are going to like me. But if I go against the grain, like an alpha, commander, whatever.
So I could sit here and point out that it's not brave to try to lie to millions of people. But, I don't have to roll around in dog crap to prove it's dog crap. You can tell by how it smells. So here's Greg coping about having tiny balls.
HEG is going to make your balls get bigger, but personally, I don't give a shit if my balls are not big. They were never big in the first place. I never had big balls as a kid, and I don't have big balls now. They're definitely smaller than when I was natural. I would say half as big.
Typical politician, all cock, but no cum.
So back to the point of the video, Greg even admits that he's been on steroids or PEDs in general since about 13 years of age. That's despite telling people for years on the platform, including Bradley Martin and whoever he's on a podcast with, that he was natty for most of his bodybuilding career.
I mean, Julian trained all wrong, and so obviously he had to be on all these steroids, but yet his production of testosterone wasn't suppressed, and so he must have been on MK677s. I was on something, I'm not going to tell you what it was, at 13. That's why I was able to lift so much.
When you found gear, how did that change? Does everything change?
This is what was fascinating for me. I was like so against using steroids my whole life. I was like, I'm not going to do this, you know. I'm not doing drugs, I'm not doing anything.
Yeah.
But eventually your gains start tapering off. So once I got to around 30-ish, I wasn't really gaining any more size, and I wanted to get a pro card, and so then I got on gear. I was on something, I'm not going to tell you what it was, at 13. That's why I was able to lift so much.
Even for the most grounded of us out there, I think that it can always be a little blackpilling to discover that yet another rich person got their fame and attention by lying. Unfortunately, that's just how our attention economy works. So let's see what Greg has to say about that, because he does kind of touch on that.
What can you take out of this? Because we can go back and forth for years, and I'll get millions of views, millions of dollars from it. And so it's great for both of us, but what can you take out of it? Because the way I'm seeing it is, it's very negative. Like,
of course it's negative. You're giving people, mostly the inexperienced and literal adolescents, a warped view of reality and false expectations. And you're knowingly doing this because you intend to make them insecure, unsatisfied, frustrated, uninformed, and therefore marketable.
Coach Greg, and today I'm going to give you a house tour, car tour. You're going to see where I live, what it's all about, what's going on.
Money, I got money, I got.
So here's the gimmick, alright? You convince the young, inexperienced, outright dumb, or all the above that attaining a physique comparable to Larry frickin' Wheels at 19 years old is somehow achievable naturally. Then what you have is an audience of hopeful morons that are looking for the way to achieve this false reality. Issue is, nothing gets them there. The gym sure can't. So now there's this void you've created in their minds. They wonder what they're doing wrong or what they're not doing, that will be the key to this desire you yourself planted in their impressionable interpretations of reality. You then offer false fillings for this void that offer you a hefty profit margin and offer them relatively nothing. Then the trick is to keep them in this brainwashed state for as long as possible so you can keep selling them fake solutions.
And so when I did the first video on Hussein Farhat, I thought, look at this guy. Put on all this muscle in a couple of years, fake Natty.
Considering you made this broccoli head a co-owner of your supplement company, I really doubt that that was the thought process you had.
I knew it would get a lot of views.
At least you're being a little honest.
So, if you ever see a guy make a transformation like Hussein and or Julian, the chances are more than 99% that they're a fake Natty.
So yeah, as you can see, he's finally backtracking, which you can also see on this comment he left under Mudpit's video on the same topic, which is mostly gibberish because Greg can't type or text, apparently. But the meat of it is that he says, everyone should just do what they did. I changed my opinion, which is blast Tren, test, D-ball, and MK677 for 16 months, build 50 pounds of muscle, and then keep it when they cycle off by doing a proper PCT. Now, before anybody says, oh, he's clearly being sarcastic in this comment, he's clearly being sarcastic in the video that you're covering. I don't think so. Alright. Like, it's a very literal tone in both cases. He drops the parrot from Aladdin voice, and he brings out his actual voice, and he tells you they're not natty. Alright, like, and even if there was a sarcastic tone, though this comment is very obviously literal to me, okay, there's no sarcasm here. Even if there was a sarcastic tone, does that mean it's not the truth anymore? If I stole money out of your wallet, and I was like, yeah, I stole money out of your wallet, I saw it on the counter, I just took $20 out of it, yeah. Does that mean that I didn't do it? If I did it, I did it, sarcastic or not.
My blood work is better than 95% of men, and that's while on HRT. And what I mean by better is my liver function, kidneys, my heart, my ability to use glucose, insulin sensitivity, everything. It's very, very high. So much so that I'll likely outlive 95% of the population.
So jokes aside, guys, Greg doesn't care. These influencers do not care about you, okay? 99% of them are willing to do whatever gets them the most money. The true 1 in a million is when an influencer, a celebrity, personal trainer, etc. has actual standards and is willing to tell you the reality of the situation, which is if you want to look like Julian, if you want to look anything comparable to Larry Wheels, if you want to look like Hussein Farhat, if you want to look like Greg, if you want to look like Jeff Nippard, you're going to have to do steroids. And it's not like a 99% thing. It's not a 1 in a million thing like, oh, you might just be a genetic outlier that can look like Larry frickin' Wheels if you do bicep curls enough. No. Just stop. Stop being a participant in your own brainwashing. Have some self-respect and adjust your expectations. Peace out.
I don't give a shit if my balls are not big. They were never big in the first place. I never had big balls.